Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Only one type of burger. For every pallet. Fries are extra. Large in size. We've got the shakes. Going over the brim.
Hey, this is Chris from JCW's. Put a positive, delicious spin on your day at any one of our 5 locations. In Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, or Harriman. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
And now,
it's 10 a.m.
let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From 2 guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Welcome. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
How you doing?
Doing well, you?
Oh, you know. Nothing like a Friday on the front end of a back-to-back.
Yeah. Your Friday and Saturday are booked, as are mine.
I don't know. Days don't exist.
Yeah.
Days don't exist in the sports world. They really don't. I mean, I ran into somebody, and this is ironic because I complain about working nights all the time, but there was really complaining about working nights.
Uh-huh.
And I said, this is the business we've chosen. Which Godfather is that I always forget? Is it 1 or 2? I think it's 1. But anyway, this is the business we've chosen. If you like, quote unquote weekends,
it's a bad one.
It
has a lot of positives.
When I slung electronics / hand tools at Sears, the people that really cleaned up at Sears were the appliance salespeople. Mm-hmm. Like, you could make, and this is back a zillion years ago, Christian Sears was a retail outlet
kind of a
for
catch-all.
Years and years. And it started as a catalog, ironically enough, considering that more or less like Amazon is
a catalog.
Basically a catalog.
Yeah, we've gone full circle.
Is what sunk them. But those people slinging appliances could make, a really nice living. However, your Saturdays and Sundays were booked.
Yeah.
Like, you were working. Your holidays, people, normal people look forward like, Labor Day. I can't wait to grill a hamburger. Whereas they had to be like, Labor Day.
Selling a dishwasher.
I can't wait to move this great Kenmore appliance.
Yeah.
Your home needs a Kenmore appliance on this fine Labor Day. It's just kind of what you got to do, right? But yeah, the jazz season is winding down. Is this their last back-to-back?
I'm not sure. It's possible. Certainly. NBA's tried to get rid of them.
Christian, by the way, quick update, show update before we dive into it all. Christian is, in fact, here. Christian is expecting, and his wife are expecting a baby any day now. The due date is officially next week.
April 3rd, next Friday.
So Christian, and maybe we could do a little bit of a call in here on this.
Okay.
All right. Because Christian's getting tons of parental advice,
yeah.
And if you want to go that direction, feel free. But I want to ask you, Ben, what advice would you give Christian in the days leading up to birth? You know what I mean? I'll tell you what I would have done if I could go back and relive the last week before I was a parent and what I would do. But I think that's the advice Christian needs right now. Not necessarily the parental advice, which he's drowning in. And again, people can call in, but the days leading up to your first kid, what would you have done differently, or what advice would you give our dear friend Christian? Go to the KSL Sports app.
Yeah.
Hit the call-in feature. Say, this is for the Jake and Ben show, and then give Christian advice. Because I know mine.
I would say you should pack stuff for the inevitable hospital stay, because you're going to be there at least 2 days, that will keep you somewhat occupied without annoying your wife. Because I think there are a lot of dudes who are like packing up the PlayStation. It's like, well, you can't game while she is raising your child for the first 2 days of that child's life, because nobody knows what's going on and nobody knows how to do anything. And you don't want to be obnoxious on top of her, not struggling, but trying to reinvent her life. And you're just like, well, it's just a normal Wednesday night for me. And you picked a particularly bad time to have a baby. Well, actually, I guess you know what? The advantage you have, Final Four is going to be on. You're actually, if you're in the hotel or in the hospital next weekend, there's going to be some good basketball on. I was in the hospital for the Utah storming the field 3 times game. So I remember that BYU-Utah game very well because sitting there with nothing to do.
So you're saying pack a book or something?
Something that is non-offensive. Something that's not loud and that she already is like bothered that you do too much. Don't do that. Don't bring that.
Don't sit on my phone on Twitter.
Whatever your thing is that she's like, I can't believe he's doing this again after whatever, a couple of years of marriage now. Abandon that for a little while.
Well, let me ask you this: what's the visitation policy these days at hospitals?
I don't know.
It's got to be wide
I haven't
open.
been to a hospital in a long time.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Whatever you want to do.
My last kid, it was 2021,
Yeah.
and so the visitation policy was very restricted, and not like it would be that way today. However, like some policies with COVID kind of evolved things. For example, media press conferences and things got a little wacky for a while, and sometimes they go back to exactly normal and sometimes not. So I'm not sure but I would say I had super little downtime with my first. My second, again, during the pandemic, oh my gosh, we were just.
And your first will be different because all the family wants to see it.
And you're going to be a nervous wreck, frankly. I can't imagine playing video games when I had my first.
Well, you should see dudes. You should hang out with more dudes because dudes can persevere.
My wife, as a NICU nurse, tells me all the time there are dads that come in and they're just sitting there on bringing like a switch in or
Do you
whatever.
have an HDMI cord for me?
Literally.
I forgot to bring mine.
No. Don't do any of that. Like, I make jokes that I wish we were still in the waiting room with a cigar. Like, I wish that was the male role. But that is truly a joke. No, I don't. Don't do that. No. Be attentive. And, yeah, if you got to kill some downtime with a book, knock yourself out. But bring you're...
Bring your vape. No cigars
Bring
anymore.
your vape.
Yeah. Nurses won't be as mad because it's harder to see in the bathroom.
Hide in the sleeve.
But you can smell a cigar. But if you're just ripping watermelon vapes.
Can you imagine just lighting up a cigar in the hospital in 2026?
No.
Oh, this isn't allowed?
I would respect it way more than
this is my family's tradition,
vape cloud
dude.
guy.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, can I? Okay, well, sound advice. Certainly don't bring the PlayStation. That's
Bring,
a bad idea.
A crossword puzzle that you guys can like pass off to one another,
right.
When there's a little bit of
And
downtime.
honestly, you're going to be figuring out how to feed the baby, and you're going to be figuring out a bunch of different things that require some.
Your wife being
attention.
a NICU nurse, though, throws a real curveball into this, where it's like, I would tell you, like, let the nurses take the baby as much as they want. Like, you're going to have this kid for the rest of your life. I promise you it's okay if those first couple of days it's not in the room with you all the time, especially at night when you're trying to sleep. But, like, she's going to have all these rules because she's done it before. So she has probably a pretty specific game plan.
But she's never done this before. And like,
I think that's what I'm prepared to like remind her because she's only dealing with the worst case scenarios, right? So knock on wood. I mean, if our baby's 100% healthy, like that's not something that she's used to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't need to get too personal here, but the word latching is going to take on a whole new meaning if you go a certain direction, which she certainly has never done before. But I mean, your wife's going to be really great. Okay, my advice more is leaning toward this. Listen, if you, in the days leading up, however many days, if you have any time that you can possibly take to yourself, like care for your wife, do your normal cooking. I don't know your role in the household, but you knock all that stuff out. And if you have any extra time, and I don't care if it's video games or dropping acid or taking a nap.
Don't do acid.
You take that time and do it, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. I'm not saying neglect anybody. None of that. You get all that stuff done. But if you've got a minute, 10 minutes or whatever, you do exactly what you want to do at that moment. Because as soon as the kid is born, like that portion of time in your life goes down. I'm not going to say nothing, but it goes down
to next to nothing?
To next to nothing for the foreseeable future.
Don't put yourself in a compromised spot, like Jake says, where you're not sober for, I've never seen anyone on acid.
Well, Uber's a thing, Ben.
Yeah, call an Uber while you're hallucinating.
Can you imagine the story afterwards?
Well, this was the story of my child being born, not me, but our first. Her water broke in the middle of the night, and we went outside, and there was a bunch of kids partying on our lawn, and someone had parked behind me in our driveway illegally. And all these just like drunk zombies walking around my neighborhood. And I said, whose car is this? And everyone was like, I don't know, bro. And I was like, we're in labor. And simultaneously 30 kids sobered up. Like, we got to get this baby to the hospital. We got to get this car out of the driveway. And everyone started working together right away.
Oh, that's kind of hilarious.
But there was
teamwork.
Yeah, it was.
Team on 3.
It was great. Nobody crashed. It was good.
But yeah, you can figure it out. You can get to the hospital. But I'm not advocating that Christian make that particular decision. You understand what I'm getting at.
I do. Just a lot of other things, like play a round of golf or something is maybe more logical.
Yeah, a round of golf.
Go hang out with your dad.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Kick it with the old man, sure.
Yeah. Anyways.
Don't drive to Reno or something, but hang out with the friends. Do all that. That would be my recommendation to you.
It's great advice.
Thank you.
And you know what? I'm definitely going to pull that card. Jake said, I got to go hang out with the boys
just
tonight.
do it.
I'm sorry.
No, just play the card. Make sure she's healthy and well-adjusted, and then be like, dude, I'm going.
I would kill to see the guy who brings his video game system in and, like, puts the headset on. It's like, Call of Duty. I got a battle.
Okay. Hey, listen.
The boys set up a time. I don't care if the baby's here. Like, shh. I got the headset in.
Oh, I told you I told you I met a guy.
What's the Wi-Fi?
My brother and I met a guy at a bar in Nags Head, North Carolina, who had a baby hours before, who was just dismantled at this bar. I mean, just overserved, did not cover it. So, hey, point being, like, I don't know what people's relationships are like, but I would like to see somebody try that with somebody with my wife's personality. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like,
it would have to be a knocked up situation. And with all due respect to your wife, she wouldn't pick that man.
But no, she would not. But I don't care what condition she was in. She'd be out of that bed.
Correct. You're not supposed to be walking right now.
And that thing
she's running down the street. T2.
So that's solid advice, although I don't know if Christian, were you planning on taking your gaming system to the hospital?
My wife said I could bring my Switch, but I know I'm using my better judgment. I'm going to say no. I don't need that. This
will be a relatively short period in the rest of your life, and you don't want her looking back and being like,
right,
put it down as video games for 10 minutes to.
Hold on, I'll grab the baby in a minute.
Give me a second.
I'm almost done. Boss battle.
Can you burp this? Hold up. Hold up. I've never been this far before, or I don't even know how video games work anymore.
I can't save this game.
Come on. All right. Anyway, advice for Christian. KSL Sports app. Hit the call in. What should Christian be doing with the final days before he becomes a parent? Be selfish, dude. I wish I was more. My wife would have been fine. Go play golf today, for sure. Does she play golf?
She does not.
Oh, okay.
No.
My wife got it. We can move on, but my wife got to be
2 hours.
got to be a better golfer when she was pregnant. I don't know what it was about the like center of balance or whatever, but her golf game went way up. Like second trimester on, she was like Jack Nicklaus.
Okay. Had a short game. Yeah.
Had to get her a suction cup for the end of the putter so she could get the ball out of the hole.
Yeah.
But man, her golf game was screaming. All right. What a disappointing night of basketball.
Well, the late game certainly stunk. First 2 games were good.
way to show out, Houston. Way to make the Big 12 look good.
I realized they were in trouble when they had 35 points with 7 minutes left to go in the game. I thought, that's probably not going to be enough.
No.
I don't care who you're playing.
And this was supposed to be Houston's offensive squad,
I hate their offense. I hated a lot of offenses. I hated BYU's offense this year as well. BYU a little more understandably, just because when you have A.J.D. Bonson, you have Rod Wright, I kind of understand the take turns method. I actually thought that's what Houston needed a little bit more of. I thought they were too egalitarian. Sometimes it's just like, and maybe they just don't have the shooters. But, dude, just clear out. You have a lottery point guard who's really twitchy and can get to the rim. Like, just give him the ball up top and let him go to work, especially when things are not working for you at all. And that was the case. And credit Illinois. We were talking yesterday about this game, and usually it is easier to slow teams down than speed them up. And actually, that game was slow. It was a low-scoring game. But Illinois found a way to score even in the half court, which is hard to do.
Let me hit one more thing, and then I want to say something I never thought I would say. But now, I did not watch the Iowa-Nebraska game live.
Okay.
So explain this. You guys explain this to me. They had 4 guys.
So they go into a timeout with 58 seconds left.
Okay.
They are down by 3. Nebraska is down 3 to Iowa. Iowa has to inbound the ball full court. But they're up 3, so they have the advantage. We're kind of like, let's just kill the clock, or let's use up this whole possession. And Iowa's really good at that anyways. And they look, and you can tell one of the players close to the ball, not the inbounder, but a guy close to the ball, counts the defense and is just like, there's not enough dudes out here. And he immediately starts pointing like, throw the long ball. Throw the deep ball, because they can't match up with the guy who's sitting at half court, kind of the outlet pass. And sure enough, goes down and he gets the and one on top of it. But they've gone back. There's a guy whose entire job during the timeout is to hold a whiteboard, and it has your number on it and it has your initials on it, which means like, am I coming out of this timeout in the game?
You're playing.
You need to look at the whiteboard, and one of the dudes forgot. It's on the board. Like, the coaches did do their job. Hoiberg, to his credit, did his job. And they just blew it.
Okay, I have several takeaways from this situation. One, have you ever seen somebody spend their political capital or positive vibes or whatever you want to say faster than Fred Hoiberg?
That's tough.
Wins the first 2 games in NCAA tournament games in the school's history. And then, yes, he is the head coach. So guess what? It's his fault.
No, it's 100% on him.
And he should have been fired before can you imagine losing a game? Ben, how many thousands, and I mean thousands, of competitive sanctioned games from high school to the NBA to Europe to China to wherever else this game is played professionally and otherwise? How many times, like what percentage of the time do you think every team that plays this game gets 5 people out onto the floor?
99.999. I mean, I've never seen it. I've never seen a team not get 5 players on the floor other than watching Hoosiers.
Unreal.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
I mean,
it's like when you're walking out the door. Everyone does this, right? Right pocket, left pocket, back pocket.
I mean,
like, keys, phone, wallet, I've got it all. How do you not do that when you're looking at your 4 players that are supposed to be 5 on the floor?
And I'm saying if, because these are dumb young people, if there is a player to blame, he should just give back his NIL money and vow never to play basketball again.
Let's sit this one out,
But
Coach.
you know what? I'm actually going to hold the adults accountable that, like, you got to get 5 guys on the floor, Coach. What are you doing? And then here's my further, and this is just further evidence in my opinion, that referees are the worst people on the planet. Mm-hmm. Just the worst. The referee has to count every time because they're looking for 6. The referee could have easily walked over to Fred and said, "Hey, Fred, got 4 players on the floor, Fred."
Yeah.
But no, the bozo referee goes, "I don't have to do that.
Inbound the ball.
I don't have to do that. It's your job. It's not my job. It's your job." Easily, I bet you, honestly, and here's coming to referees' defense, I bet you 90% of the refs out there would have been like, "Hey, Coach."
Yeah. Hold on. You only got 4.
Like, hold on.
Yep.
Hold it up.
And actually, you can get a delay of game.
You've only got 4.
You can be assessed a penalty for not having enough players. You can get it for having too many. You can also get assessed a penalty for not having enough.
But this particular referee or
Hoiberg
crew
said something about his
whatever,
mom.
dude.
Hoiberg said something during the game. And Hoiberg is not the most demonstrative coach. If this was a Sean Miller or a Bruce Pearl, I would have understood doing it. I don't think Hoiberg is traditionally that guy. But, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a catastrophic mistake.
Even think of that. The egotism of, I'm going to stick it to you because you said something. I mean, come on. These are young people who are playing for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Get over yourself. Good. What is your job? But I don't know. That whole situation is just crazy.
We've talked a lot about, Kyle Whittingham, who did basically nothing but win games at Utah. We talk a lot about his loss at Washington where he called the timeout when he should have just let the game run out. Absolutely blew it and lost in regulation a game, or what they ended up losing in overtime. But they gave Washington a chance to get to OT.
That's it.
Never should have done it. Witt not kicking field, whatever it was.
No, it was tied, and Washington was going to go to
OT, and Utah
and called a timeout like they could actually get the ball back and score again. And so Peterson just beat him.
Witt not kicking field goals against BYU. We remember your coaching mistakes the most. So yes, Hoiberg takes Nebraska to truly a place they've never been before. Not just a win, the first in, I just can't believe, school
program history. Yeah, it's wild.
But 2, gets them to the second weekend, has a chance to win this game, and at the biggest moments, 4 players.
My team is on the floor.
Team's on the floor. All right, Gene. Yeah. That's always going to follow him now.
Wild.
4 players on the floor.
It should follow him, though. That's
Absolutely.
the thing.
No, yeah, that's an unforgivable mistake.
It really should. All right, I'll pay off my teas and top 3 stories coming up next. I'm going to say something I never thought I would say. And it's for a really petty personal reason.
Okay.
Which I know people enjoy. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Hi, I'm Alicia.
And I'm Stacy.
And we make Trashy Divorces, everybody's favorite good podcast about bad relationships.
Looking for something true crimey without the gore or the body count?
We've been churning out funny, feisty, feminist episodes since 2019. So if you're looking to put some scandalous stories told well into your ears this summer, check out Trashy Divorces, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Trust us, we've covered someone you love.
Or someone you love to hate.
Did you know fluoride is not available in Utah water systems? And fluoride supplements work best from 6 months to 16 years old. A healthy smile isn't just about teeth. It's about health and confidence. Your smile matters. Find resources at yoursmileutah.org.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Thank you for making us a part of your day, however you may be listening. Let's get to the top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love. With J. Brooks Jewelers, explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. That's really what you should do, Christian. You should go down to J. Brooks, get her something really nice. Something really nice that says, hey, you're going to go through it.
They call that a push present.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it has a label?
That's like a thing now, getting the mom a push present.
I hope she gets you something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Back's killing me from these hospital chairs.
Yes.
Oh, go get her like a nice tennis bracelet or something, dude.
Tennis racket.
Make it happen. I don't think the good folks at J. Brooks sell sporting goods this point, but maybe. I mean, we can talk to John.
Something to match the bracelet.
Next time John drops by, it should be like, have you thought about racquetball apparel? Well, where do you want to start today?
Well, this morning, Adam Silver, through ESPN, released new cats in the wall for his anti-tanking ideas that the NBA is, I guess, going to vote on this summer.
Yeah, so these are the 3 that have been revealed that we know of, that were presented already to the teams. And I will try to walk through them really quickly to see if I can do it. So the first one involves expanding the lottery to 18 teams. So instead of 14 teams, you bring in 4 more teams, which basically includes everybody that missed the playoffs and then the 4 play-in tournament teams. That way you don't have teams tanking to miss the play-in tournament. They're all a part of the draft lottery. The worst 10 teams, so the teams with the 10 worst records, all have an 8% chance of winning the lottery. And then the next, so that's 10 times 8, 80%. And the final 20% to win the lottery is dispersed among the other 8 teams that just barely miss the playoffs or get to the play-in tournament and don't make it. But you can get to the play-in tournament and actually get to the playoffs. Or maybe it's just the first 4 teams that get eliminated. That's the other part. That was another issue here.
Okay.
And again, why we're talking about cats in the wall, why this is always so difficult.
Okay.
And then
Cat in the wall, eh?
What I actually do like about this proposal is all 18 spots are a part of the lottery. It's not just the top 4 and then you just go in order. All 18 spots get picked via the lottery. It would take 35 hours to get done, but that's how it would work. In the second proposal, the bottom 22 teams in the NBA would all be a part of the lottery. So only the top 8 teams, top 4 I would imagine in each conference, get there. The bottom 10 teams that miss the play-in tournament, the 8 that qualify for it, and 4 playoff teams that do lose in the first round would be included in the lottery. And they are ranked according to their record across the last 2 seasons. Now, if you have and you also have to hit a loss total or a win total, I guess I should say. But if you, let's say you only win 17 games like the Jazz did last year, they automatically say you won 20 games. So it actually doesn't incentivize you to lose more than 20 games because everybody gets reset to just 20 games. So if you had 5 teams who won between 14 and 19 games, the league just weights them equally so you don't actually improve by having fewer wins than that. But you are definitely not incentivized to win beyond 20 games. You get to that 20 win total, there's no reason to win another game. That's why I don't like that one. And then the third proposal was really hard to understand. It's by far the worst. It's called a 5x5 method. And this one, the same 18 teams from the first proposal, the bottom 10 that missed the play-in, plus the 8 that make it would be entered in the lottery. The teams with the 5 worst records then all have the same odds. And then they all descend from there. And if you actually had the worst record, you could fall as far as 10, it sounds like, in the lottery, which is very painful, very punitive. It's just a lot of rules. Which
cat in the wall, eh?
Yeah, we should play the meow 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 song.
Yeah.
All of these, you could make an argument, make the problem worse, not better. I mean, you really could.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now, let's say you're including the play-in teams and the first 4 that lose or that are out. So now you've got teams tanking playoff series. To get into the draft.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm trying
that is. It seems like a weird byproduct where, in a weird way, you're incentivizing losing playoff series. I mean, if you're overmatched at all, or an aging team that has no chance, like if you're the Warriors this year, you would absolutely tank out of wherever you get into the playoffs. You know, you absolutely would not want to make it to the second round of the playoffs. No way. Because you want to get a shot at a young player to pair next to Steph Curry. And even a shot at it is totally worth it.
The first proposal, which I actually think is the best one, but is the most ripe for this issue, is, yes, the bottom 10 teams that miss the play-in tournament. So everybody who misses the play-in gets an equal 8% chance. So no one wants to be in the play-in.
No one wants to be in the play-in.
Now, the play-in teams, they say, well, at least we get a shot at the lottery. The only shot you get is 20 divided by 8. What is that? 2.5%? 2.3%?
And you have no prayer of winning 2 rounds in the playoffs, so why would you want to
win?
Why
would you even want to get there when you could just say, no, I want to have one of the 10 worst records? So what you end up with is even maybe a team like the Houston Rockets right now, who I think have like the 5th worst record, or let's say the Toronto Raptors, who we've seen lately, who have the 5th worst record or 5th best record in the East. They're nowhere near winning a championship. They're not even close.
So why would
Houston's not even close to winning a title
Why would they
right
even
now.
try?
They are way better off having one of the 10 worst records with an 8% chance. That's as good as anybody to move up and get the number 1 overall pick.
That actually makes the problem worse.
It does. It flattens the odds.
It absolutely
worse.
makes the problem worse.
Right. Now, it brings up the bottom half.
Great.
So the 5 worst teams in the NBA say, okay, well, we're going to actually try and win 22 or 23 games as opposed to 16, 17, 18. But yes, you have teams in the middle of the pack just saying, like, the worst, but you're disincentivizing the middle class of the NBA.
Back you had 2 or 3 teams in the league taking. You can, and this is why Adam Silver pretending like this is a new issue is so funny, but you had 2 or 3 teams, right? I mean, even, who was I hearing talking about the Jazz were doing it in the early 80s? But anyway, point being, it was 2 or 3 of the very bottom. That expanded maybe a little bit until the monumental solution for the problem of tanking, which was to flatten the lottery odds. That did an interesting thing, right? It made it so the top pick or those top odds were more accessible to more teams. So now instead of 3 or 4 or whatever teams tanking every year, you have 6 or 7 or 8 teams tanking every year because, hey, you can get just as good a shot at that number 1 pick if you can be just bad enough to get into that bottom 3, really. But still, the odds at 4 or 5 or whatever are pretty decent. So now you're expanding tanking to a wider pool. Then enters the next cat in the wall, the play-in, which you think, more teams have access
to the playoffs.
So more teams are going to be trying. And it has exactly the opposite effect, where teams don't want to have that access because they want to remain in the lottery, especially teams with protected picks. So now you're up to 7, 8, 9, 10 teams in the league tanking because, oh man, I don't want any part of that play.
Right.
It worked for Dallas multiple years.
Right.
They got 2 really good players, including the number 1 pick because they avoided it.
Yep.
And so now the new solution, quote unquote, is going to open it up to playoff teams too.
To more teams.
Where now we're at half the league, if not more, trying to not make the playoffs. We're not even winning the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, not even winning the playoffs. Yep. No, it's...
Did you see Adam Silver's hot take before all this came out where he's like, we're going to solve this thing.
It
is solved.
Yeah.
And it just makes it worse.
Makes it worse.
Oh, let alone your complex trigonometry or whatever in the third one that no one can follow. Well, guess what? General managers will figure out how to follow it real quick. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they'll figure out a way to play it to their advantage and they'll lose games on. I mean, it doesn't fix anything.
Yep.
What's next?
Number 2, Jazz taking on the Nuggets. And I looked. It is their last back-to-back of the season.
Yeah, the last front end of a back-to-back.
And kind of funny that Jokic has given himself a 1-game buffer to qualify for postseason awards, right?
Yeah, actually, of all the silly things that have been done in the NBA, the 65-game rule, we have seen players try to hit 65 games. We are seeing players aim for 65. Now, that also means I can take 7 days off. I can take 7 games off as long as I get to 65. Maybe I was going to play 72 otherwise. Now I know I just have to hit 65. And what that does artificially do is it tells voters, hey, this guy's good enough. 65 is enough. So just play 60. That's all you have to play. Instead of saying, well, if you're healthy, you should play 70 or 75. If you're healthy, it says, no, just play 65 at most. Enjoy the rest otherwise, and that's good enough.
You know what's funny is Adam Silver was taking an indoor victory lap about that particular cat just the other day and how successful it is. It's like, I don't know if that's true because I don't like that either.
Agreed. Yeah,
like that.
Hasn't worked. Nuggets almost entirely healthy. That? The only guys they don't have are their 2-way players. Jazz are without Isaiah Collier, Keontae George, Blake Hinson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, Yusuf Nurkic, and Kyle Filipowski's probably.
Blake Hinson is funny, and give me the what is the exact amount, Ben? But if he plays like 3 more games, he gets guaranteed, or he gets guaranteed for the year.
Yeah.
And so they're going to avoid playing him as much as possible, which kind of sucks. He's got to be like, hey, come on now.
Players on a 2-way contract can play up to 50 games with their NBA parent team. What if that's an old date? That might be an old number.
Because I don't think he's played.
He's not played anywhere near 50.
No.
But it might be actually days spent with the team versus...
Because they've sent him down to... Yeah. We say down. We sent him to the... They sent him to the G League.
Yeah. So, yeah, but he can only play so many more games.
Yeah, well, the Nuggets should have no problem, I'm guessing.
That's the idea.
They're going to be motivated. It's all about motivation with the opponent, I think, from here on out. And who plays for the Jazz? I mean, I don't think we'll see Keontae George again this season, but they haven't ruled it out.
I talked to him about his hamstring the other day, and he said some days he wakes up and it feels good, and some days it feels tricky. He just says it's tight still. I explained to him the Carlos Boozer history with the Utah Jazz. He didn't know it.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
And the most highly publicized hamstring in Jazz history?
Because he's like, yeah, he said he had seen a video of Darren Williams talking about how they drafted him. And he was like, how did they draft him when they already had Boozer and Okur and AK? I said, yeah, Boozer was just, he kept hurting his hamstring.
All right.
Sweet 16 continues today.
Okay, here's where I've got to pay off my tees. Because we didn't get a chance to talk about our Arizona, Arkansas, and we can do the schedule today here in a second. But, Ben, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm officially rooting for the Arizona Wildcats.
Okay.
I don't like Arizona.
Okay.
I've never been to Tucson, never want to go.
All right.
I don't think Lute Olson, I think he was overrated.
Okay.
I don't care for Arizona. However, I love it that they don't shoot any threes because the nerds drive me crazy and have been driving me crazy forever, and there's always another way to do it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do X to compete in Y. And in fact, I think it stifles innovation, which is what analytics is supposed to encourage, right? I think it actually stifles innovation because people are afraid to have new ideas. And the fact that Arizona, out of all 60 whatever teams in the tournament, shoots the fewest amount of threes out of everybody, I absolutely love it. They play an incredibly fun, unselfish brand of basketball. A lot of dunks, a lot of fun stuff at the rim, and they just trounced your boy Cal. Cal. And I'm officially cheering for Arizona.
Krivas is huge. Their center is very good. Koa Pete's super athletic. So, yes, they have an enormous advantage at the rim compared to just about everybody else. We'll see Michigan's pretty big as well. If they run into each other, that'll be a fun game. But then they're just loaded in the backcourt as well with Braden Burries and Jaden Bradley. Jaden Bradley, the Big 12 Player of the Year, I believe. Braden Burries, in my opinion, maybe he should be the 5th overall pick. Like maybe he should be the next freshman guard taken because he kind of does it on both ends of the floor. And is probably a way better shooter than we know, but they don't shoot threes. He took 4 threes last night. He made 2 of them, but they don't take threes because why would you? It's, if you were to compare basketball to football, the 3-point shot is the deep ball. If you don't have to throw the ball, you can just run it down their throat, which is layups with your bigs. Just run it down their throat.
You're going to win every time.
You're going to win every time because Koa Pete shoots 8 of 11 and Krivas shoots 6 of 9. Well, if those guys are getting 14 of 20 at the rim, that's 70% from the floor, you're going to win every game.
Tale as old as time, Ben.
And you know what? Credit Utah State. Utah State played Arizona way better than Arkansas.
Yeah, they sure did.
Way better.
Yep. All right, here's today's schedule. 5 o'clock, CBS, St. John's and Duke. 5:30 on TBS, True TV, Alabama and Michigan. 7:45, the night game on CBS, Michigan State and UConn. And then at 8 o'clock, the nightcap on TBS, you have Tennessee and Iowa State. All right, coming up next, we're updating a story.
A follow-up.
A follow-up on our guy Connor and his
roast of the bride at a wedding.
His
but
toast.
I think it was supposed to be a best man speech.
All right, best man, his toast at a wedding. We're going to figure out how that went. Stay tuned. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Want to remind you can win big every Wednesday on the KSL Sports Zone with Win Ticket Wednesday. Coming up next week, win tickets to go see Weezer with the Shins and Silver Sun pickup at the Maverick Center. Silver Sun pickup, at the Maverick Center, September 15th. Pre-sale begins at 10 a.m. next Thursday with the code WEMAV26. That's WeMav26 at livenation.com. You can listen all day on Wednesday for your chance to win. All right. Joining us now in studio, our friend Connor, who works with us here at KSL Sports, invaluable member of the team. And no, it wasn't Connor who got married, but good to see you. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not bad. Your friends, what were their names? Again, remind us.
So Kyle and Maddie.
Kyle and Maddie were getting married down in Phoenix. You came in here. You had to do the best man toast.
Correct.
And you came in here for pointers. Just a little review. Christian has set up some of the stuff we went over. Christian, let's go ahead and play that. You should add another joke at the end, like, if you don't think I did a good job, this probably won't be the last time Kyle's getting married.
I would make fun of yourself more, maybe the bride less, and I actually might start with your last paragraph first.
Really?
If I had to give sincere advice, like, it's so easy when doing speeches like this to talk about yourself. Mix in more Kyle. Mix in, like, why Kyle was a genius behind the party or whatever. I'd say more detail on the Kyle front. And embarrass him a little bit. The best speeches have a little embarrassment. Not, like, humiliate the guy.
A little background was that Connor's first approach was to just shred the bride. Just absolutely tear her down. And then also talk about legal issues you and Kyle had together. But we didn't really get enough into the legal issues. So Jake wanted more exposure on the legal issues.
More scandal.
And I said, maybe take it easy on the bride. Because you're trying to get in good with her, too. Because you want to see your friend Kyle again. And if she hates you, you're never going to see him again.
So now they are indeed married.
Correct. It was a good wedding.
It was a good wedding.
It was fun.
Went down in Phoenix. How was we were talking about this a little bit. How was the venue?
So it was nice. It was a little small. It was in Mesa. And the reason that I'm pointing that out is we rented an Airbnb out 8 minutes away from the venue, right? And we're driving to the Airbnb. I don't know if you guys have been to Mesa, but it's not the greatest part of town. So we're driving and we're like, where are we staying? We were so confused. And we pull up and there's cars everywhere and just, I don't know, people sitting outside on their porch. And we got into the Airbnb. It was nice. It was clean inside. And we were only there for 2 nights. So it was like, whatever. But it was really hot. I remember, so during the actual, I guess, ceremony where they say their I do's, we're standing and me and all the other groomsmen are right in front of, or like pointed at the sun, in direction of the sun. We're all looking down, like tearing up, sweating just from how hot it was in the Phoenix area.
How was the shirt afterwards?
Drenched.
Yeah.
Tough.
Did you get a sunburn?
Yes, and then I went to South Carolina after that too, and I got cooked.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the ceremony itself, all that was all nice.
It was beautiful. I was so happy.
And then at the reception,
you got to deliver the best man speech.
Correct.
How did it go?
Do you feel like you made a lot of adjustments?
So let me tell you this. I took a lot of notes you guys gave me and I added them. I thought they were funny. I was so proud of the speech I wrote. Right. And I'm like, hey, I don't know. I'm anxious sometimes, definitely about this. So I ran it by Kyle. I said, Kyle, I have some of these lines. What are your thoughts on them? I just want to make sure that this is going to go well with the family and everything, right? Kyle absolutely hated them.
Hated the whole thing.
No.
He was not a fan. Well, a lot of the digs I threw, he was not. Into. So I had to quickly rewrite the speech. I cut a lot out of it. Speech came out into like 2 minutes.
Plenty.
But there still a lot of jokes. People laughed. And it went over very well. I also want to point out it was a very religious wedding. So it was me and then 2 other, I guess, bridesmaids it would be. And the 2 women went up first. And they gave pretty much the same speech, right? It was beautiful. Shared like cute stories about them and Maddie. And then they end with the Bible verse.
Yeah, there was not a lot of religion in your speech.
Well, yeah. So on the second speech where she ended with the Bible verse, I'm shaking in my boots because I'm like, okay, I'm about to get up there and stand up and talk about all the debauchery me and Kyle got into in college for 5 minutes and just make a complete fool out of myself. But I found out that's what the party needed. That's what the wedding needed. They wanted to laugh. They wanted to have fun.
They needed that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it went well.
It worked?
Yeah.
All right.
And Kyle and Maddie were happy with it. I was definitely kind of shaking the whole time.
I feel bad we just gave you terrible advice.
I
love
feel
it.
really good
love
about
it.
our advice.
I love
I'm
it
going to stand by our advice.
I love it. The groom cut it. Like,
these
no,
are
we're
terrible.
not doing this.
Well, okay, so you guys made a mention. So I mentioned Michael. I met Kyle through Michael, my freshman year roommate, who was Kyle's high school friend, who wasn't at the wedding. And you guys were like, you guys should talk about how he's not at the wedding, right? So I had a good joke. Okay. Do you want me to?
Let's hear
hit it.
So it's like I met Kyle through my freshman year roommate, Michael. If you guys are looking around for Mike, he's not here. He's still at home waiting for his invitation.
Oh,
That's a banger. That's a great joke.
Hated that.
He hated that?
Oh my God, he was livid.
Well, we probably.
And you kept it in?
No, I took it out because I was like, I really.
Oh, you can't make the groom mad. It's fine if he cuts it. You can't override that editorial.
You got to be careful who you let edit your speech.
Well, we probably should have found out why Mike wasn't at the wedding. Like if it's Mike,
well, I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just weren't really good. I mean,
okay, so he's still with us. It's not like a tragic death or something.
Mike and the bride have a history.
No, Mike's awesome.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So cutting room floor. That was a good line, though. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
I'm trying to tell you. Can I tell you the truth?
Yeah.
I think Kyle might be lame. I think you might need new friends.
And what did I say
during my first? It sounds like you had a good speech, and like Kyle's just a dweeb. I think that might be the problem.
The first time I was on the show and I was reading you the speech, I was like, just context, Kyle's not a very exciting guy. He's kind of, a lot of the stuff we got into was for me or my friends, and I talk about that in the speech, and then Kyle was like the white knight, right? He was the good guy, helped to clean up the situation.
Sounds like you got the cops called on him a lot. I mean, how many?
Unless Kyle was one. I'm starting to wonder if Kyle was the one who called the cops. Like, I'm uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be here.
That could be it.
Okay, Kyle.
Don't like a joke about Mike.
I hope your wife stinks.
Oh, that's not very
she's awesome.
nice. That's not
Maddie?
very nice. Come on, let's not overstep
They're great
our
people.
boundaries. Yeah,
All right.
and we're happy for them.
Sounds like. I think you did a good job. I think Kyle did a bad job.
I'm glad you read the
developing into a
room.
person.
That things needed a little levity and a little spice.
Yeah, I guess
you know?
Yeah, people were
Correct.
falling asleep, so
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, let me
good.
bring
The
it
Bible
back.
doesn't have
Step
a lot
in.
of great jokes in it.
No,
notoriously.
I feel like that's a good best
So
man
like it's
role.
okay for somebody to bring in a couple of jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're glad it went well. Sorry we didn't give you better advice.
No, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved your advice, and I added it, and I
then you had
was
to pull
so
it back
happy with
out.
the speech.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, we know that the real, like what do they call the Bob Dylan tapes, the bootleg tapes? Like the bootleg
the best
speech
stuff.
was freaking gold.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys,
Thanks,
too.
Connor.
Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned. More next.
Congratulations, Kyle and Maddie.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Hi, I'm Alicia.
And I'm Stacy.
And we make Trashy Divorces, everybody's favorite good podcast about bad relationships.
Looking for something true crimey without the gore or the body count?
We've been churning out funny, feisty, feminist episodes since 2019. So if you're looking to put some scandalous stories told well into your ears this summer, check out Trashy Divorces, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Trust us, we've covered someone you love.
Or someone you love to hate.
Did you know fluoride is not available in Utah water systems? And fluoride supplements work best from 6 months to 16 years old. A healthy smile isn't just about teeth. It's about health and confidence. Your smile matters. Find resources at yoursmileutah.org.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, we're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contests. And listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. My daughter had her first soccer game of the spring yesterday. She missed a chance at a wide open net.
Oh, it's like the Mammoth.
It's all right. No, they played hard. They played well.
Mammoth didn't.
Cute little team.
Oh, you're talking about your daughter's team still.
Yeah, no, the Mammoth lost to the Capitals.
Up 3-1? in the first period and then just got absolutely trounced. They are falling apart.
Bad time to do so.
Yeah, you can't do it. Now they're still in first place, and Nashville lost last night, so that's good. They're still in first place in the wild card, but having opportunities, especially at home, to win these games, and they're not doing it, seems like a lack of preparedness, a lack of belief in themselves. You have to step up. There's always time to turn it around, but man, they have blown some major opportunities.
All right, now listen, I must enlist the help of our listeners real quick here. We have a YouTube commenter, Christian. What's the name of this commenter?
You don't want to read that.
This is from Ryan Lundgren 279.
And we're on the YouTube, so you can always check out the show. And we love interacting with listeners, however they may do it. And there's some allegations in there because I was not aware of any of this.
So Ryan commented on YouTube, has Jake addressed Clark Kellogg doing his best impersonation of Olympic Bob Costas?
I did not watch much of the studio show yesterday. In fact, you have sent me a tweet here, Christian.
So if you do a Twitter search, I have yet to find a picture of it, but it seems like March 19th, a lot of people were tweeting about Clark Kellogg potentially having pink eye.
So this is not a recent thing. This is a back in the day thing where Clark was battling pink eye during the tournament.
Like last week.
Oh, this says March 2016.
Oh, did I send you an old tweet? Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, maybe
last week he had pink eye like Costas. And I get it. Clark, the Super Bowl, the NCAA tournament is his time.
It is, yeah.
It is his time.
He's going to push through it.
But it gets back to will not take the night off.
Because, with all due respect to Chuck and Jamal Mashburn, I actually kind of like Jamal Mashburn.
I like Jamal Mashburn.
I think Jamal Mashburn can be a good basketball analyst. I'm not sure he's quite ready to be a Sweet 16 analyst of all these college basketball teams, but I do like Jamal Mashburn. I think there's a lot of intelligence there that can be mined and turned into an interesting person on the television. And Bruce Pearl, et cetera, et cetera. Clark knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, Clark's
right?
great.
Clark, if you could get Clark and Jay Billis, I know never loves Jay, and they work for different companies, but those two guys know their hoops extraordinarily well. So yes, when you get to this point, this is where he's going to, carry the show, and he does carry the show, and he does a very good job. But if he gets pink eye, he's going to push through it.
He's pushing through
He's
it.
going to, because
Charles
Chuck
is going to steal his thunder?
Mash, whoever the hosts are not going to be able to do it.
So do we confirm it was?
Ryan commented again and said he saw it last night.
Oh, last night. Well, I'll look closely.
Oh man, I got to go back. We got to fight. Yeah. We got to examine the tape. Thank you.
They're back on
Thank
TV
you,
tonight.
Ryan.
Yeah.
We appreciate the heads up. We got to get to the bottom of this thing, and we probably should play the song.
Okay.
Now, I think we should play it now, but is that up for debate? We don't have to play the whole song.
You're the lead,
because it's quite long.
You're the man.
But I do love this song, and then we can get back to.
We can start the show finally.
We can get back to. So this is
in
the
our
song
fourth segment. Maybe we can start the show
that I wrote.
Yeah.
About Bob Costas.
Called
Bob Will Never Blink. Now you will wonder why there's a bleep in here. It's because Bob threatened to sue us for using his name. So that's why that happened. But here's Bob Will Never Blink.
Good evening, folks. I'm Bob, your trusted face at primetime play. I've covered wars and weather scares. I've done it all in office chairs. From curling stones to slalom slopes. From speed skate dreams to luge and hopes. But tonight there's one small oversight. My eyes look like a horror sight. Doctor says, Bob, you gotta rest. You're contagious, this is not your best. But the redder they glow in this studio light, the more I know I'm staying on tonight. I will not take the night off. I will not even blink. Both my eyes are screaming, but ratings never sink. I'll stare through all this new shit till the closing credits roll. If courage had a cornea, it'd be in my swollen soul. Oh, yeah. I will not take the night off.
I forgot it was my Broadway musical.
Yeah.
It was, I've done reggae.
Yeah,
I've
you've
done
been listening to a lot of
rock,
Joseph.
and I decided I forgot it was my Broadway musical. I've got to work on further songs. I mean, we've got our main hook. What did you say? We have our, what was it from Wicked? We have our
Gravity, Defying Gravity.
Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
So now we got to work on our popular. You know what I mean? The surrounding material.
Right. Well, get the whole thing out there. The Bob
Maybe
Costas musical.
we've got the Clark chapter.
Yeah, right. That's the coda.
Not
Maybe
to be
that's the
outdone.
end. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Bob has really put the brakes on the whole thing with the whole lawsuit stuff. So I don't know.
I do feel like it's been a good NCAA tournament. There have been a lot of not upsets, certainly, though Iowa is alive still. Texas did lose last night, so their Cinderella run has come to an end. And tonight you have a 4-1. You have a 5-1 with St. John's and Duke, a 4-1 with Alabama and Michigan, and a 3-2. So that's chalk. Tennessee being a 6 is not necessarily chalk. They obviously won their matchup, but and a 2 Iowa State. So for the most part, it's all high seeds. It's all big names. There's basically NBA talent on every team. And there have been some buzzer beaters. Even last night, it wasn't a true buzzer beater. There was a half second left on the clock. But Purdue's win over Texas came down to the very last shot.
I got to tell you, I wish it were a little more spicy. I don't know. Usually I'm the one who's saying that nobody wants to see the Cinderella. But, I mean, having everything be predictable is kind of lame, I guess.
And I do think this is where we're going. I do think this is what we're going to see. And there will occasionally be the team that jumps up and is an 11, but it's going to be Texas as an 11 that is loaded with NBA guys that just didn't play well during the regular season.
I don't even necessarily care all that much about the seeds, I suppose. It's more like Utah, when they made their run, that was a huge story. And they were a 2. No, that year I think they were a 3 seed, I want to say. So it's not like they were a low seed falling out of nowhere.
Sure.
But seeing, the 1 seeds win game after game after game isn't exactly interesting. You know what I mean? Like that U team, again, they beat Arizona and North Carolina to get there. But see, where I would give you a little pushback, maybe that's an example of maybe this isn't going to be how we view it every year, because if you want to talk about the resources gap and all that sort of thing, like at the talent gap, all of that, it was all there when Utah beat North Carolina.
The talent gap?
The talent gap. The resource gap, because North Carolina was paying their players more than all of that stuff.
The talent gap, not
gap.
so much. Yeah, that Utah team was loaded. The Utah team had 3 NBA players on it.
Well, it had,
Andre Miller's a great NBA player.
Fine.
Doliak was a very good NBA player. Not meaning he was good in the NBA, but he played a decade. That's a very legit NBA player. That's a guy who carved out a role. And then if you want to say like Hano or whoever.
Yeah, Britain. But he was a freshman on that team.
Yeah.
And not that he didn't play a role, but it's
Hano
not like
played
he
one
was.
game.
Andre was fine. He was not Vince Carter.
No, he was not.
And Doliak was fine. He was not Antoine Jameson.
Right.
Like, okay, yeah.
And the Arizona team that has Bibby and Jet.
And North Carolina was even more stacked than Arizona. That's why I picked that as an example. North Carolina was more stacked than Kentucky. Mm-hmm. If Utah was good enough to beat North Carolina that year, they should have smoked Kentucky. Kentucky was like a shell of it. That was the what was his name? Tubby Smith. That was the Tubby Smith Kentucky. Mm-hmm. That was like take Pitino's Kentucky and break it down. That was a more unlikely run than Utah that year, which is kind of funny. Who was Kentucky's guard who had the weird foul shot?
Here, I'm pulling up the...
randomly made them all that season. But that existed. I mean...
It did, absolutely.
And I'm not closing the book on that existing it again. A coach or a place or whatever figuring out a formula. Like, Gonzaga really shouldn't exist like they do. Does that make any sense? I mean, they really shouldn't. And yet they do. And Mark Few figured it out. And maybe the recipe now is changing. But, I mean, for example, I refuse to concede that you can't make it to the Sweet 16 in Logan. And I know they haven't done it. So, I mean, I'm not even going on that. But if you get it figured out and get the right players in the right place, you can get that done. Now, I do think the committee screwed them over, and that's a different conversation entirely. But who's to say, these soon-to-be Pac-12 schools can't figure out a way to play their hand better? San Diego State is only a few years away from the championship, So I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to close the book on those stories just yet.
That North Carolina team, just quickly, it was Antoine Jameson, Vince Carter. I forgot Brendan Haywood was coming off the bench. He played 8 minutes in that game, so he must have been their freshman.
He made some allegations about our friend Brenton Johnson after that game.
Yeah, that's right. But Brendan Haywood played in the NBA forever,
Ed Cota, wasn't that the name of their
was
point
on
guard?
the team. Shimon Williams may have even played in the NBA for a while. So, yeah, that team was loaded.
Yeah, it was the all-star team that Dean Smith handed to Bill Guthrie and said, here, go out and grab this job by the horns.
Yeah.
And they lost to Utah in the Final Four.
Shimon Williams played 300 games in the NBA. Yeah, that team was stacked. That's crazy.
So my point being is that Utah figured out a way to play to beat a team like that. They played at a cripplingly slow pace. They were extremely disciplined. They were a terrible matchup for an absolutely loaded team, and they figured out a way that night of nights to beat North Carolina, which is the magic, in my opinion, of the tournament. But North Carolina doesn't get to be North Carolina if they don't win all the time, So there's the other side of it.
Absolutely. The team that might be Utah that's still in the running right now is the underdog that's still remaining. That is Iowa. Because they have Bennett Sturtz, who is very Andre Miller-y, other than you just have to shoot threes now. But he's just like the best point guard, and I think he's been at Iowa for probably 3 or 4 years. He might be a true senior, so he's like the upperclassman that has stuck around. That might be the magic. Can you find the guard who really probably did stink? I'm not going to pretend I knew his entire career. Maybe he's only played 2 years. Is he only a sophomore? It says he's a senior here, so he must have been at a junior college before this. But yeah, you get a guy who stinks, moves his way up, or doesn't have the grades, which actually, wasn't that an Andre Miller issue as well?
Yeah, he was whatever that prop was. Anyway, to get into at Utah, yes. Grades
and then,
were an
issue. You get a couple of years. DeLon Wright did the same thing. Good junior college player at whatever, San Francisco, and then makes the jump up and plays 1 year. Who's the kid that can't get off the bench for the Lakers right now that they drafted out of Tennessee? He also had horrendous grades and couldn't make it, and then goes to Tennessee, and they make a little bit of a run. Don't connect.
That's how the Utes got Kalen Clay.
Yeah, absolutely. But that might be the pathway you have to take if you're going to be a Utah State.
That's a strategy that not only Utah State should employ and probably does. And by the way, I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. I'm all about people getting opportunities.
Absolutely,
which, people go, oh, you can't make the grade, you don't deserve whatever. I'm pro opportunity. So yeah, get young people into school. I think that's certainly a positive thing. But that's how Utah built a program in the Pac-12. And it's not quite an advantage in the Big 12 like it was in the Pac-12. But Kalen Clay, I mentioned that. Devontae Booker, he didn't have grade issues. He had a different type of issue. He was trying to fudge his grades, if you remember that.
Yeah.
The Utes could get those guys into school. Mm-hmm. Cal can't. Well, Cal's a different story. Certainly Stanford, UCLA, they can't get those players into school. Utah had the advantage that they could get those players in. And Utah State can get those players into school. Utah can still do it, but so does the rest of the Big 12, right?
Iowa, who we're talking about, is a 9 seed, just like Utah State was. Maybe they got the wrong team. They drew Arizona instead of Florida.
No, but they got a team that upset the 1 seed. They didn't have to play the 1 seed, right? Or beat
Iowa
Florida.
Maybe Florida. That's what. Maybe you just got the wrong 1 seed.
Yeah,
maybe that is your only pathway to get there. Would have been easier if you were the 7 or the 6, and maybe they would have deserved that because clearly they put up a better fight against Arizona than Arkansas did. But to Arkansas's credit, Arkansas just won the SEC. It was a very good. It wasn't a perfect league this year, but a pretty good league. Beat Vandy to get there, so they made a pretty impressive run to end up with whatever the 3 seed or 4 seed that they had before they got eliminated. So
yeah,
I'm with you. I'm not ruling out the idea of these Cinderella runs entirely, but as Jared Calhoun said yesterday, I do think it's getting harder.
All right, stay tuned. We can revisit some NBA stuff coming up going forward. Adam Silver has released the cats.
The cats are all out.
The cats are out, and we're figuring out which cat is going to be worse. Because it's really not the best cat because they all kind of stink.
Yeah.
Cat in the wall, eh?
I still don't understand them, which I think is part of the problem too. So we'll try and crunch through that.
Yeah, we'll break it down.
All right, stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, The NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Hi, I'm Alicia.
And I'm Stacy.
And we make Trashy Divorces, everybody's favorite good podcast about bad relationships.
Looking for something true crimey without the gore or the body count?
We've been churning out funny, feisty, feminist episodes since 2019. So if you're looking to put some scandalous stories told well into your ears this summer, check out Trashy Divorces, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Trust us, we've covered someone you love.
Or someone you love to hate.
Did you know fluoride is not available in Utah water systems? And fluoride supplements work best from 6 months to 16 years old. A healthy smile isn't just about teeth. It's about health and confidence. Your smile matters. Find resources at yoursmileutah.org.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Sorry about that confusing bumper situation here on Jake and Ben. Christian's got pregnancy brain.
Yeah.
He's going to have a baby any
Can't
day.
stop thinking about latching.
Any day now. Want to remind you about Beehive Meals. We're teaming up with them to honor people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. If you are just starting to listen to the show, we are giving Christian advice on how to spend the next however many days of his life as a non-parent.
Before he becomes a parent.
What should he do? Ben gave him some prep advice on what to or not to take to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I told him to be as selfish as he possibly can.
Yeah.
And,
I said,
and
don't do
feel bad
gaming
about
at
it.
the hospital. And you said, do all your gaming beforehand. Which is probably
All
good
of it.
advice.
Get it out of your blood.
Yeah.
Naps, binges, in all forms.
Yeah.
Get it done now. Don't neglect anybody.
Correct. You still
Don't
gotta be
neglect
a
anything.
partner.
But if you get some moments to yourself, take advantage of that. Ben, Adam Silver has leaked possible solutions to tanking through, was it Sharania that?
The Athletic has it now, too. So I think everybody has gotten a version of this leak.
And it's 3 different scenarios that go from kind of confusing to utterly ununderstandable.
Okay,
and I don't think any will be effective.
Can we, before we dive into what these solutions are, because
Okay.
I know that is the interesting thing, can we just talk about what the problem is with tanking? Can we just lay out what the actual issue is? Because it is a problem. I'm trying to figure out if there is a way to, everybody's trying to figure out if there's a way to fix it. But is the problem that teams are trying to lose too much and that's just that simple? The bad, again, it's even hard to almost define what tanking, I know what tanking is. You purposely lose a game because it improves your draft odds. Kind of simply put there. Is that all it is? I mean, is that all the NBA is trying to get rid of? I guess that's what I'm asking. What problem is the NBA trying to fix? Is it there being bad basketball teams? Is it teams being artificially bad? Is it half the league is incentivized to lose? What do you think is the biggest issue?
The biggest issue is teams losing on purpose.
Okay.
The biggest issue is the integrity of the league and the sport.
Okay.
Now,
because you're
I
not
get
getting rid of bad basketball teams.
No. I get what you're alluding to. You're organically bad. You're still bad. And rebuilding is a legitimate thing, right? A lot of these tanking teams are quote unquote rebuilding. To have the top of the league, you have to have the bottom of the league. But the And the reason that all this stuff is PR is because the what am I looking for here, Ben? The narrative, the appearance.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
The appearance is what you really care about. That no, this is professional basketball. They're all trying all the time. The truth is they're not, and it's more subtle than that. You want to. I think the NBA has the problem that their system is laid out to incentivize it.
Correct. I do think that's the biggest issue.
I think that's why teams lose on purpose. Mm-hmm. That's why whenever we have this discussion, we throw in the caveat that I don't blame the Jazz for doing it.
Right. I don't blame anyone for doing it. Or I don't blame
for the Sixers for doing it.
Yeah.
Or anyway, we don't blame because they're operating within the system, because all humans really, but certainly in sports franchises, are all going to operate in their own best interests for whatever the goal is. And the goal has changed, really. The goal in the NBA used to be keep the lights on. We got to keep people coming to the event. Mm-hmm. And now the goal is to win NBA championships.
Yes, we've gone very macro. We used to be really micro.
Yes.
Game to game had to be good to get people to come in and buy hot dogs.
And that's how you kept operation. That's how you kept operating.
You are basically the U.S. government. Like, you have a guaranteed amount of income that's coming in
no matter
all
what.
the time. You can do whatever you want with it.
Right.
You've got all this TV money coming. It's not going anywhere, so you don't have to do the day-to-day thing as much.
So now the goal is to win at all costs. And there are other more subtle incentives, like if the Jazz have a star basketball player, it will make their franchise worth more.
Uh-huh.
That is true. It's not like none of the other stuff matters, right? So getting a star player is in and of itself lucrative. So you've incentivized, the system has set up, because the incentives are different, you use the system differently. And since franchises are self-interested, they're going to abuse the system. It's the reason, uber rich people pay no taxes. It's because they use the system to their advantage, because they are self-interested.
Yeah.
And we say, well, I don't blame you for being self-interested. You are a human after all, or you are a franchise. So you've got to fix, you've got to fix the system or fix the incentive. And I don't think you can fix the incentive. So if you truly want to get rid of this, and maybe I think what you're alluding to is maybe you really don't. Maybe it's really not a problem, but it's a PR problem, which makes it a problem. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, what I'm trying to figure out here is if fixing tanking or fixing the lottery specifically is the wrong thing to try to fix. Like maybe they're just trying to fix the wrong part of it. And maybe because why I'm asking is I don't know if the NBA is trying to get rid of bad teams. I don't think they're actually trying to stop being bad teams. Like you said, to have good teams that win 60 games, well, somebody has to only win 20. It's a zero-sum game. If somebody wins, somebody loses, and you're not going to have every team go 41-41.
Well, let me put it this way. I would look at a play or a sporting league or whatever that doesn't have this issue. Mm-hmm. And it's not in the United States, because the NFL does have this issue. It's not as public, but they certainly do.
Right.
Major League Baseball and hockey are a little bit different because it takes prospects so long to develop.
To get there.
To actually get there and be able to make an impact.
But it does absolutely still happen.
But it absolutely still happens. I would look at European soccer, and I would say, and maybe our Euro soccer nerds or whatever can give more context to this, but it doesn't seem like they have this problem. And I think that's for two reasons. One, they don't have a draft at all. Mm-hmm. You've got to find the young players, and you got to bring them up through your system and develop them and all that stuff. So there really isn't free agency in European soccer either, but that's not the other one I'll point to. The other one is they have relegation. Mm-hmm. So there's a real stick if you're bad. So you certainly don't want to lose on purpose, because you absolutely don't want to get relegated. I don't think that they can copy the relegation thing. I think they can copy the draft thing. And I don't think the franchises want to do that. So maybe, to your point, you just don't fix any of this. Again, we can get into the details of what the NBA proposed, but I don't think it fixes anything. In fact, all three of them, I believe, make the problem worse. So I would rather them ignore it like it's not a problem, I guess, than do all this tinkering or actually totally revolutionize the system, because I think that's what it's going to take. None of this crap is going to work.
I do think teams tanking is bad for the league. There's no question about it. I mean, a lot of games every night are just ruined because teams are trying to lose, especially over the entire second half of the season. It's at a particular high right now just because randomly the last 2 drafts have been very good. Last year's draft was awesome. It's probably going to be better than this year's draft, and this year's draft is very good as well. So teams are going to tank to try and get one of these guys. They didn't try and tank as much during the Zachary Rizachet draft because he stinks.
See, that's all immaterial. The Jazz have been tanking 4 years in a row.
They've been taking 4 years
It's been a variety of the Sixers tanked 6 years in a row or whatever it was.
Including really bad drafts and some good drafts.
Right. So I don't.
You're right. So
Adam
maybe that's not
Silver's
part of
been
it.
waving that around, and I don't buy it.
So is the lottery designed to stop bad teams from being bad? If that's the goal, is there another way to do that? Are there financial ways to do it where you just say, hey, you get an extra $15 million in your salary cap. If you're the Sacramento Kings, this year you get $15 million. And guess what? If you're terrible again next year, you get another $15. Now, it's going to take you 3 years before you get this extra $30 million, which might give you a lottery player or a near max player that you can sign. But you get basically a new mid-level exception every year, which allows you to go and get a mid-level player. And the mid-level player actually is going to help you. You know, that's a decent roster spot that's going to step in and help you. And then if you have that player, it gets really hard to tank. And then then you can get rid of the lottery if you want to. Or you can have the lottery be truly all 30 teams get 3%. But the worst teams do get some actual advantage financially to go and improve their roster. Because you know what the other secret part of this that really is hard? Rookies don't help you. You can tank and you can get the best rookie. And 9 times out of 10, if not more, they are not going to help you be a better basketball team.
Right away.
Not right away. So then you're in the same spot 2 years from now. Or 3 years from now. Like, if the Jazz had all of their eggs in Ace Bailey's basket, when are we talking about them winning with Ace Bailey?
Right.
3 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you give them $15 million extra and say, yeah, you got to go get a mid-level player, and you got to help, and you got to use them to make your roster better, and that's your best opportunity. But you don't have a chance to win the lottery just because you have the worst record in the NBA. I don't know what to tell you.
I liked our idea of bidding on draft picks.
Yeah. You can buy draft picks.
You can buy draft picks in salary space. Let's go through these cats real quick just so people know what the news is.
All right. So here are the 3 proposals from the NBA, and Adam Silver has since told The Athletic that these are going to continue to be tinkered with as they get close to this vote. The bottom 10 teams that miss the play-in tournament and 8 teams that qualify for it will all be a part of the draft lottery. This is the first proposal. The bottom 10 teams, so people who don't qualify, so this would be basically everybody from the Jazz to I don't even know who's at 10 right now.
Get it.
Would have an equal chance at winning the lottery, 8%. So the worst team right now, the Indiana Pacers and whoever this is, the Memphis Grizzlies or whatever it is, all have 8% chance. And then the next 8 teams split the remaining 20% of the lottery with a chance to move up. So the teams that are in the play-in tournament have about a 2.5-3% chance of winning the lottery. The obvious answer is that
the losers in the first round.
No, this is just the 8 team.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so because 14 teams miss the playoffs and then the 4 that make the play-in. The next proposal is there are 22 teams, the bottom teams that miss the play-in tournament, the 8 teams that qualify for the 4-team play-in tournament, and then the 4 teams that actually lose the first round of the playoffs. So if you get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, you do find yourself in the lottery, maybe even if you're a number 1 seed. And then, on top of it, you get ranked according to your last 2 seasons. So what you did last year counts for this season as well. But if you fail to hit a certain win total, let's say 20, they just scoop everybody up and say you count for having 20 wins. That way you aren't incentivized to lose 15 games and 15 games in a row.
That's the Pacers rule. They don't want you to be awesome and then crappy one year and
still win the lottery.
Right.
But they also don't want you to just say, well, we can improve our odds by being 13 and 78 or 80 or 69.
So now instead of being bad for 1 year, you have to be bad for multiple years. Got it.
But also you account for 20 wins. Like you might as well get to 20 wins, but then it incentivizes you not to get for more than 20 wins. And then there's a third proposal. It's called the 5x5 method per Shams Charania. And it says, in this one, the same 18 teams from the first proposal, so the 10 that miss the playoffs and the 8 that make the play-in tournament, who miss the playoffs, et cetera, are entered in the lottery. Teams with the 5 worst records would then all have the same odds, with them descending from there, and there would be a lottery drawing for each of the top 5 spots. So all 18 teams would have a chance to win those top 5, and then from there, there's another lottery, 6 to 10, and if you don't get the number, if let's say you have the worst record in the NBA like the Jazz last year, conceivably you could fall to the 10th pick, if I'm reading this correctly. It's just, again, You could play the meow, meow, meow in the background. It's so many different things that I just wonder if we're actually fixing any problems or just creating different problems. Which I think is what Adam Silver has done the most of as a commissioner. He's made everybody very rich, and he's created a new set of headaches for everybody.
Yeah, David Stern kind of made everybody rich.
He did too. Yeah.
I think they should find a lawn chair and sit old Adam. I know they're in New York, right? So sit him out there in Central Park in the sun until they come up with something better. Like maybe a little urgency. That's all I'm saying. Like he's getting a sunburn. Come up with something better. You imagine the access to the brain power that the NBA has, and this is the best that they came up with?
I know. Again, the criticism about Adam Silver consistently is that it looks like he reads Twitter responses from random people and says, "Oh, that seems like a good idea," and has no real understanding of like the fallout from them.
Yeah.
Because you and I walked through the first proposal, which is the 18 teams, which is I guess the 14 that missed the playoffs, and then the next 4 that also end up making the last spots of the play-in. And the problem is you just totally disincentivize now being the 5th team in the conference. The 4th team in the conference. Because truthfully, the 5th team and the 4th team don't really have a chance to win a championship. You could pull those teams up right now.
Yeah, but they're all of a sudden incentivized to lose
now
games.
They're incentivized to get to the 10th worst record in the NBA instead of being heartily in the middle of the playoffs. Yeah. Instead of being the New York Knicks, or here, I'll pull up the actual conference standings because I can give you some names here. Instead of being the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Atlanta Hawks, or specifically the Atlanta Hawks and the Toronto Raptors, or in the West, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Houston Rockets, you're better off falling to the 10th worst record in the NBA and having an 8% chance at winning Victor Wembanyama. Of course you'd rather have that than no chance of beating the Oklahoma City Thunder. Why would you want to be eliminated in the second round when you could potentially win Victor Wembanyama 1 out of every 10 times? You have a 0% chance of winning the championship right now if you're the Atlanta Hawks or the Toronto Raptors. 0% chance. You cannot win the title even though you're in the playoffs.
Nope.
But you get Victor, and in 3 years you might be able to win a title. San Antonio might win a title next year. So why would you want to make the 4th seed, 5th seed? Just fall back to 10. You're actually incentivizing more teams to tank.
But I feel like now we are doing his job because I feel like the only reason they leaked these was for radio bozos to go like,
to pick through it.
To pick through it and say this doesn't work for a variety of reasons. And then it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. Ben didn't like it. Ben easily picked it apart. We got to come up with something else. Wrapping up the show next. Stay tuned. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
Did you know fluoride is not available in Utah water systems? And fluoride supplements work best from 6 months to 16 years old. A healthy smile isn't just about teeth. It's about health and confidence. Your smile matters. Find resources at yoursmileutah.org.
Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two niggas on the airways, talking sports. They got it made Jakes and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarf.
Figure out how to put the car seats in the car properly right now. That was my one job. I forgot, and I had to figure it out in the time they said, go pull the car around and we'll bring her down in a wheelchair.
Hey, Jake and Ben, this is Neil. I've got a solution for you for the tanking. This is how to do it. Everybody gets an equal chance in the lottery. Everybody. There's no discrepancy between the best team and the worst team. Everybody gets a ball in the lottery, and everybody gets a chance. Boom. No tanking.
Brent first, very solid advice for Christian, who's going to have a baby any day now. And then Neil, I've always kind of been intrigued by that wide open approach, although it does make trades more difficult because if you're trading for or trading away a first round pick, it's kind of tough to hone in on the value there.
Yeah. Might be nothing, might be worth something. You would restrict movement a lot. And the NBA likes player movement. It draws interest. The NBA likes the trade deadline.
Yeah. So good stuff. Always contribute our call-in feature. And the car seat thing, absolutely. Those things are kind of a pain, and they are tricky until you get to
And then it becomes second nature. You can just throw that thing in blind. But
can I ask you this real quick? And I know that we're up against it, but, we a lot of advertising, Ben, obviously on the station and companies, and we love our great partners. And, there is the advertising is a thing and a skill. And let me ask you about this, Ben, from an advertising standpoint, because I think this is just a huge fail. Or not even advertising, like promotional standpoint, okay? Citi Field has the 999 challenge. For $60.
This is what Christian should do before the baby comes.
So this is Citi Field in New York City, where the Mets play?
Yep.
999, $60.
Yeah.
Okay. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, 9 innings.
Yeah.
First of all, do you think you could do it?
I'm pretty confident, but everyone says no, it's impossible.
Christian, do you think you could do it?
I don't think so.
Might have been easier before the clock. The pitching clock has sped the game up so much.
9 hot dogs is just a lot. And 9 beers is a lot, too.
But 9 hot dogs is really
And
a lot.
9 beers is rough. But here's what it is in reality. Okay, so they give you 9 hot dogs in a tray, but the hot dogs are...
Yeah, right.
They're
the
like
little mini corn dogs.
They're like slider-sized hot dogs or whatever, these little teeny hot dogs. And then this is where, I'd file this under false advertisement. They just give you a tall boy.
One tall boy?
One tall boy.
That's not 9 beers.
Well, their argument is it is 9 2.5-ounce beers.
Well, there's no such thing as a 2.5-ounce beer.
By the way, 2.5 ounce. Picture like your normal Coke can is what, 12 ounces? So that's
a third of that, fourth of that, a quarter of that.
A quarter of that is what they're calling. So for $60, you get 1 tall can and 9 appetizer hot dogs.
Yeah, shot glasses of beer.
If I actually bought that, I'd be pretty mad.
I mean, $60, that's just about what you spend for a Diet Coke and some dum-dums now when you go to the game. So
but
it's not the worst price.
It's
but
actually
that's
not.
What you think you're getting.
It's not a good price.
If you think you're getting 9 dogs and 9 beers, you're like, this is the greatest deal of all time. But you're right. You're not getting anything close to that.
No, that tall can probably cost you $15 out on the concourse. And what are
you
9?
Get 3 hot dogs.
What are 9 mini dogs worth?
Yeah,
like
you get 3 normal hot dogs.
It's probably less than $60.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I understand the idea of trying to capitalize on a viral sensation. The 999 sensation is a real thing, but
Speaking
foolish
of fine meats. Join Scotty G live today, hanging out with the good folks at Bar W Beef. It's coming up next from noon to 3 at the Grill, 2264 South Main Street in Nephi. We will talk to you next week on the Jake and Ben
Maybe
Show.
Christian will be back. If not, maybe he and the wife have a baby.
97.5, the KSL Sports
Thanks,
Zone.
Christian.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
This is Mike Bolo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps. where people listen to podcasts.